I'd like to have the chaplain come up, please.
Well, I get the privilege of giving you some words of encouragement. Your life as firefighters will be filled with excitement and challenge. Each day will present you with the opportunity to rise to the occasion and intervene in possibly the worst day in someone's life. While this interaction may seem heroic to the general public, we would reply, and often sheepishly, it's just part of the job. What we discover, though, it's this responsibility, this job will change us. We'll begin to look at things differently. We, as firefighters, will become sensitive to smoke detectors and extinguishers and fire escape plans in the home and with our families. Paramedics will fill their POVs with jump bags full of emergency medical goodies just in case. That was me when I first became an EMT. Not to mention 24/7 scanners. This behavior is not normal. We all live in a world where we'll become hypersensitive to our world, especially in the areas that we most feel responsible for. In reality, this worldview is mostly due to a natural fear that we develop being exposed to countless situations where things have gone bad. And since our exposure comes in the form of these emergency situations, we begin to believe that these things can literally happen anytime, any place, and anywhere. And oftentimes we become fearful of these very events that will ultimately impact our loved ones. This adopted worldview isn't unhealthy. It's just different than the rest of the world. Our family will probably roll our eyes when we make a big deal about such things. And we will mutter under our breaths, they just don't get it. And they don't get it. How could they? Thank God they aren't exposed firsthand to the drama that will become part of your daily lives. We wouldn't want that for them. But we do have an appreciation for being exposed to this that makes our world look different to us. So what do? How do we professionally live in one world and come home to a different one? Do we just switch gears when we walk through the door if it was just that easy? One thing we can't do is ignore it. We've got to share ourselves with our families. This means we talk about fire escapes and creepy dates. And that's not just idle philosophy, it's about safety. On some level, we have been impacted by our reality. And that's struck us to our core. And we have to protect our families. Our inspiration for such a perspective isn't because we've become excessive or controlling. It's because we love our family. And we want to protect them from the evils and the dangers of this world. This isn't paranoia. But in some cases, it can go extremely that way. But rather, it's our responsibility to be good parents and spouses. As firefighters, we won't have the luxury of being naive to the ugly realities of our world. It's by being transparent about our fears that our primary motives and attitudes and behaviors will allow our families to get a glimpse of our worldview. We'll show them part of ourselves that has been injured by a world they know little about. Sure, we deal with it, and we deal with it fine. But we're changed by it. The more we allow our families to see who we are and who we are becoming, the easier it will be for them to appreciate our perspective. And the more we will allow our family to understand our worldview, the more it will put them into an understanding and acceptance of what's going on. It's not just some little inner secrecies that we have, but it'll be about our behavior and our context. We'll come in contact with them. When this occurs, we'll no longer find that they'll be annoyed by these things, but often grateful, or at least understanding for your sacrifice for others and for their love and protection for them. So I want to say to you, Congratulations. Make your departments proud, but most of all, make your families proud.
Good afternoon. My name is Clay Davis. I'm training officer for the Gaston Fire District and coordinator for the Training Association's Volunteer Firefighter Academy. A little less than 2 months ago, 28 fine young men and women started their education and training to become firefighters in Washington County and protect the citizens of the community. In just 2 short months, each individual has committed to over 120 hours of intense education and training, both in the classroom and on the training ground. During this time, each has performed exemplary, and I am truly honored to be associated with each and every one of them. We are here today to honor and thank them for their dedication, their motivation, and their sacrifices to their communities. We as association members would also like to take this opportunity to thank you as the families for the sacrifices that you know will now make because your loved ones are firefighters. Sacrifices in time lost from being with them on certain special occasions because they're paid for something. And time worrying about them when they're out there serving your community. Again, fine young men and women who have performed very, very well. I'd like to introduce some people that were instrumental in putting on the training for these recruits. Again, as I said, it's been a lot of intense training. They have had to absorb a lot in a very short period of time, and all have done it, again, very well. Representing the Cornelius Fire Department, Lieutenant George Robards. Representing Forest Grove Fire and Rescue, Lieutenant Steve Pritchard. Representing Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue, Battalion Chief Richard Block. And from Washington County Fire District 2, Captain Spencer Lamont. As I mentioned before, I coordinate the academy. That's kind of a fancy term for I make sure that all these guys have what they need and everything. These people are the ones who have been instrumental in organizing the training at their departments, acquiring the necessary crops, getting the necessary amount of assistant instructors. And many of those assistant instructors you see behind you in uniform also. Members of each department has also given up their weekends to ensure that these individuals have received quality education and training. So without further ado, we would like to present the ceremonial coins to the graduates. Lieutenant Robards, would you come up and present for Cornelius Fire Department? From Cornelius Fire Department, Tiara Gomez. Anita Vizikovic. Aaron Strasser. Colin Scott. Sam Stewart. Stephen Bryson. Christine Kim. Kevin Richardson. Lieutenant Pritchard. Graduates from Forest Grove Fire and Rescue, David Dornan. Michael Webb. From the Gaston Fire District, Marty Marshall. Tim Davis. Jeremy Morgan. Okay, Wallow Valley Fire and Rescue, Chief Block, if you'd come up, please. Neil Clayson. Tori Garcia. Jason Eisenstein. Marcus Jones. James McMillan. Passette Pitch. Brett Polo. A future Academy graduate. Brett Ramona. Joshua Sisk. Travis Smith. And Todd Colley. Recruits from Wallow Valley Fire and Rescue in this academy. Folks in Wallow Valley Fire and Rescue District, you are welcome. From Washington County Fire District 2, Captain Spencer. Excuse me, Captain Lance. Joel Chrisman. Rick Dodge. Lucas Maker. And Jesse Benson. All right, recruits rise. About face. Ladies and gentlemen, your newest Washington County firefighters. About face. Be seated. Like most things we do in the fire service, we try to be thorough, we try to make sure that we cover all the bases, but we also don't want to waste anyone's unnecessary time. I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming today and showing your support for your loved ones and for those firefighters that have gone through so much work, sweat, and so forth to get where we are today. Again, they and you are to be commended. We thank you for your support to your community. Feel free to mingle afterwards, visit, catch up, meet a few of the folks. There are some refreshments in the back. We hope you all partake. And once again, thank everyone for coming.